Welcome to Inside the Iggles Live, and they must be trying to stop me from talking because I'm already having technical difficulties, but thank God for Jake Beckman and guys like Jalil, Travis, and Matt. I got 5 guest hosts here today, and guess what we're going to do? We're going to talk about a little Philadelphia Eagles football, but for some reason, they decided to let me come on and do the warm-up before I bring them in. What in the hell were they thinking? Because I got a story that some of you are going to love, and to be honest with you, anybody from D.C., Dallas, and New York is probably not going to like as much. Where was I on Monday? I was doing a little soul searching, and I did the last thing somebody should do when soul searching. I went to the ATM at 10 p.m., and I pulled out $100. And you know whenever you do that, you are not about to do something positive. My soul searching took me to a club. I ended up in the club, and I said, well, now that I'm here, I might as well be social. So let me just hang out and check out what some of the ladies are doing. I met 4. And I realized I'm too old to be in the damn club. I never should have came out here in the first place. But I'm in here now. We might as well roll with it. The first chick I met was from D.C. And here's the problem with meeting women when you're in the club and you shouldn't be in the club. They start doing strange stuff like reminding you of NFC East teams. So the girl from Washington, D.C. was pretty interesting. She was dressed nice. Seemed like she had a little bit of cash flow. But there was one major issue that I found with this girl from D.C. Something about her said something to me, and it was this. Her best days are behind her, and they're never coming back again. I'm bored. Let's move on. The next chick I met is from New York. A devil in a blue dress, if you will. She kind of turned me off because she did what New Yorkers do. She kept telling me and going on and on about how much better New York is and everywhere else on the planet. And if you're sitting beside somebody from New York and know them, don't look at them. Just keep looking up here. I got you. So they're sitting there, and she's telling me how much better New York is than everywhere else that she's ever been and how much liver New York is. But I keep asking myself a question. If New York is so much better, why do your best stars keep leaving? And I got another question about New York. Why is it they can't be successful? It's New York. You got every opportunity. You got every advantage. You got every resource available to you. And for some reason, it just said to me, this chick is never going to win. I got bored. I moved on. The next chick, any of these chicks sounded like people you know or any themes you know. The next chick I met is from Dallas or Arlington or something like that. And I'm having a hard time listening to her because I'm still thinking about the chick from D.C. and she doesn't even know what to call herself. She's already given me like 2 names and like 5 nicknames and just doesn't even seem to know what to call herself. But I'm hanging out with a chick from Dallas or Arlington or wherever she was from. And something said something to me. She got me off the rip. She was attractive. The initial attraction was there. I'm like, you know what? This could be something. But she kept going on and talking about her daddy and talking about how much money he had. And I started thinking about her daddy, and I started saying to myself, me and this dude are never going to get along because it sounds like he's full of drama and he talks too much. So I'm hanging out with this chick from Dallas, and I'm looking for an exit. I'm trying to find somebody else that could get me out of this conversation. I'm texting people on my phone, telling them to call me so I could act like I got a phone call coming in. And the girl from Arlington is going on and on and on again. And I said to myself, you know what? I'm bored already. The initial traction was there. It looked like it was going to be a whole lot of fun at the beginning, kind of like a Sunday night football game. But I knew something immediately. 5 months from now, this chick from D.C. or Arlington or wherever she's from is going to be really boring. She's not going to give me what she promised. And when you think she needs to be at her best, she's probably going to abandon me and have me feel like I'm at my lowest because she didn't promise or deliver on all this potential that she supposedly thought she had. Then I met a chick from Philly. That John was beautiful. She was from a city. I said to myself, you know what? She's from a smaller city from New York. She may not have as much money as this chick from Dallas. We've already ruled out D.C. She had no chance. So I'm sitting here thinking to myself, and I'm checking out this John from Philly, and I said to myself, you know what? It's something about it, and I can't put my finger on it. She doesn't have as much money as that chick from Arlington. She's not as eye-popping as New York. But you know what? I ain't never met nobody who went to Philly and didn't have a good time. They got cheesesteaks, they got tasty cakes, they got all kinds of things, they got water rice, they got all that. And I said to myself, you know what? I don't know how this is going to end. I'm going to give it 5 months. And this could end with immaculate success, or it can end in abject failure. And I'm prepared for either one. Because though I know there'll be peaks and valleys and ups and downs, kind of like the first week of the NFL season, I know good and well, ain't no way in the world I'm passing this up because it's about to be a lot of fun. Welcome to the broadcast. My brothers from other mothers, Jake, Travis, Jaleel, and Matt. How y'all doing, fellas?
Doing well. How are you?
I tried to tell y'all, don't give me the microphone. Y'all did it. I know what y'all was thinking.
You're mega horny.
Yes, man, we want to know, and for some reason, everybody is acting like we lost the first game. Can you tell me what's going on?
Sure felt like it. Sure felt like we did. I don't know, man. I'm happy. I'm angry, and I'm mostly confused with my emotions. That's where I'm at right now. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do, but I have grievances and I'm ready to air them.
Not the answer I was looking for, Jake. Let's go to Optimus Prime. What's going on, Jaleel? Give me something better than Jake did.
No. Oh, his mic's dead.
Your mic's dead, Jaleel.
My bad. Yeah, what Jake just described is a Wednesday for him. So, that's par for the course. Me, I'm good. I'm elated. The Eagles got the win. I know the score at the end is 25 to 20, but they only have 14 points for most of the fourth quarter. So I'm good. I'm good, man. There's some things I'm concerned about, but we'll discuss. Maybe not even truly concerned, just want to touch on. So we'll go through all that stuff. It's going to be fun, but I'm doing good.
Matt, what's popping, man? What's popping? Great job on Friday.
Thanks, Jeff. Yeah, the Eagles did get the win. I think that there's legitimacy for concern, sure, but also it's overreaction Monday, so you don't want to overreact too much. And we'll get into the concerns, but they have a quick, they did win the game and they have an opportunity to go up 2-0 with a quick game on Thursday. So it'll be challenging because the Thursday games they don't always. I didn't find them to be the most entertaining last year, but a lot of that was either the matchups or because of the quick turnaround. But at this point early in the season, you just got to get the wins and go from there.
We got you. Trav, what you got, man?
Man, I'm gonna take a little bit of the opposite road of Jake. I'm gonna look at it this way. We went into New England with Bill Belichick on the sideline and Tom Brady's dumb face running around at halftime, acting like he's still in the league, and came away with a win and a torrential downpour against a coach who's probably one of the greatest football minds to ever walk the earth and definitely the best at preparing in the NFL. He prepares for every situation, and I'm sure he's been watching Jalen Hurts film since. I'm sure they let the Patriots know that they could have the Eagles week 1. I'm sure Bill Belichick has his connections to know the schedule before it comes out. So I'm sure the Patriots have been watching our film for a pretty long time, and it's always nice to know that you did up at, even though the score wasn't attractive and the game might have not been the most attractive. Very, very nice to beat them on Tom Brady Day when he's in the stands.
I totally agree. I've ticked off New York, so my family in New York is texting me right now. Let's talk about Little Birds football. What's up, Frank, Ray Sean, Anastasia, Jean? I hope that's saying that right. Is it Jean or John? Hit us up. We appreciate y'all for hanging out with us tonight. And let's talk a little Eagles football. So week 1, I don't know what that was. I don't even know where to begin. Darius Slay had a pick 6.
I think a good spot to begin.
It looked good at the end. Fletcher Cox turned the clock back a little bit. That's what I saw. I honestly, fellas, I remember less of the game as the game went along. I mean, what were y'all seeing when y'all watching this? What are your first takes?
I think I said this before the show. I don't like Sean Desai's complete disregard for the tight end position. That's mega tough. That's mega tough, especially going into a game where you're getting ready to play TJ Hawkinson, who's better than Mike Gesicki and Hunter Henry. That's very frightening, but that's looking forward. But I did not like that. I don't know. I don't like James Bradbury getting his brain scrambled. That's tough too. The linebackers did pretty much what I expected the linebackers to do. I don't know. I'm sour. I'm quite sour.
Jake, you're not bringing him any positivity tonight, man.
Listen, okay, you want positivity? I can give you some positivity. All right, they went in and like Josh said, I guess that's Travis that said that they beat Bill Belichick. That is not an easy thing to do, especially in week one. Like we're saying, man, the guy is more prepared than everybody, and he's a cheater too. So like you beat that. All the odds are stacked against you. So that hats off for that. I mean, if I was thinking about this, is this the hardest defense that Jalen Hurts, this iteration of Jalen Hurts has played? Because I think it might be.
I think so. Optimus probably gonna come to you, man, because I know you're gonna pull us through. A win is a win, right? But Jalen saw some stuff that Jalen's never seen before. You got guys literally just standing there doing nothing.
Yes.
Nothing to do. There's nothing to dissect. There's nothing to break down. There's nothing to transform. There's no audible to be called because guys are just standing there. And then at the snap, you don't know who's coming. You don't know who's dropping back in the coverage. You don't know what the heck is going on. But I saw something I didn't like, and I'm coming to you for the positivity, Prime. 1 for 9 on like a third down, I believe, when he was under pressure. I don't know if that's right. I think I saw that, but what you got?
You know, his numbers under pressure last year weren't phenomenal. We just didn't have to deal with it as much because the offensive line is so good, and they need to get some stuff together, you know, the offensive line. But we do have to give Bill Belichick that credit for being who he is as a defensive mind. He's the best in the league at disguising and changing what the quarterback has to look at post snap. And that what I was encouraged by from Jalen is that he didn't force it, you know, because that's how you get into trouble. Forcing it downfield, you know, you got your guys and you believe in Devontae Smith and AJ Brown and everything, but if it's not there, it's not there. And giving Belichick the entire preseason to be ready for you, however months prior to get ready, you just have to take your hat off to that. Sirianni still being new to this as well. You going up against Belichick. I'm not going to completely destroy any of the coaching staff who are all kind of new to a Belichick first game of the year in Foxborough with the rain going the way it was and nobody playing in the preseason. So, you know, there's a bit of rust factor there. Not only did Nick Sirianni say that he would reconsider, you know, playing guys in preseason next year, but Shady McCoy was on the Herd earlier and he talked about, you know, how as he got later in his career, a lot of times they wouldn't play him in the preseason and he liked that and all. But then when that first game came, he felt rusty, you know. So if someone as talented as Shady felt rusty without preseason, I imagine that would go for a lot of other guys. So at the end of the day, we came out with a win, and I'm very happy about that. There's some very good things that happened, like Jalen Carter, you know. Jordan Davis played well as well, you know. So there's a lot of good things that came out of that game.
Rashawn Glosser said, glad we got the win. Eagles will make adjustments on Thursday. Kyle Brown says, I think it was bad coaching. Rashawn says, I agree with that. Belichick being who he is, bad weather, and the defense rush from the pass was probably an issue. Anastasia is still hanging out with us. What's up? What's up? Hey, Travis, what you thinking, man? Is a win, or are you worried about for Thursday?
I'm not really worried about Thursday. I mean, you got to think that the Vikings are going to come in with a much worse mentality. At least their fan base, you know, they're feeling worse on Monday than we are. You know, losing to Tampa. That game was it in Minnesota? Yeah. It was a home game to a team that they definitely should have beaten versus, you know, winning on the road against a team that you should have beaten. Those are two pretty different feelings. You know, it's hard to win on the road, regardless of who it is, especially if it's the Patriots and Bill Belichick. But one player that stuck out to me a lot that you guys haven't mentioned yet was Reed Blankenship. I felt like, you know, he had 12 tackles and 2 passes defended, and he played over 75 snaps. You know, he was in there. He was probably the best safety that I've seen play for the Eagles since Malcolm Jenkins was in that secondary. You know, he was making tackles, he was making stops, he was defending passes, and he did what he had to do, and that's a big step for the second year undrafted free agent.
I like it. I like it.
That, yeah,
do a good job.
That Reed Blankenship, man. Oh my God, flying around. Some of those tackles he was making. You have no business making those tackles, but he was doing it. Oh, I loved that. I loved that. Justin Evans, on the other hand, get out of town, fella.
Yeah, why is he why is he getting that much run? I thought Sidney Brown played very well in the preseason. I would have liked to see him out there a little.
It's got to be just a matter of time, right? Like
must be the newness factor and things of that nature and Justin Evans' experience. Like I want to go back to your point though, Jake. We were kind of talking off air and things of that nature. We were talking about what we see from the tight end position. Shout out to Nick. He says the rust wasn't a big thing for me. Body language. Every time the camera was on, them on the sideline, they look sad as you know what. Of course it did say that line. But something you said before we came on, Jake, we were talking about the dominance of like tight ends and stuff. Now we used to see this with like Gannon a lot and everything. Something about that Vic Fangio scheme. If you got like superior tight end play, we saw it against Gannon a lot of times. Like tight ends took advantage of them from time to time, and then we saw tight ends blow up early. But the thing for me is this, man. We got linebackers that can't cover. I don't know what in the world Zach Cunningham was doing out there. Sometimes we got 4 safeties that all got skill sets. Sidney Brown can blow somebody up. Justin Evans is reasonably intelligent. I kind of like Terrell Edmonds, but I saw him get pumped in the preseason game by a quarterback and ain't like that. So I'm feeling like, you know, all this negligence in putting together a solid safety position and a solid linebacker core, it's come back to haunt us. Like you're gonna have guys running free along the middle of the sideline. I hope it ain't Justin Jefferson on Thursday.
Yeah, I mean it's right. So I have the numbers right here. The tight ends, every time they caught the ball, it was a first down or a touchdown. 3rd and 6, caught it for 9. 2nd and 12, caught it for 13. 1st and 10, caught it for 13. 1st and 10, caught it for 10. 4th and 8, caught it for 12. 2nd and 3, caught it for 17. 2nd and 8, caught it for 9. 2nd and goal, got a touchdown. 1 stop on him, I guess. That's all I'm asking for. It's not much, I understand, but Jesus, fella, what are we doing there? Can't just neglect the big athletic guy, the 2 of them. Gee, pull my hair out.
But we do know that the linebacker and the safety positions were 2 of the ones that we were looking at as somewhat of the weakness on the team coverage wise. Bill Belichick saw that as well. Clearly, him and Bill O'Brien, and they run that double tight end set, you know, more than most teams in the league. That's their best formation right now because they don't have great weapons on the outside. So the double tight end set is their strongest thing. And with us, it was going to be something that was going to be tough to deal with. At least it wasn't twofold, right? We did great in the run game. Nakobe Dean was good in the run game. Reed Blankenship was good in the run game. Justin Evans got in there. Like everybody overall, I looked at the rankings. I have a lot of the rankings here from Pro Football Focus from the first week, and out of all the teams, rush defense was 2nd. In which last year we know that the first week against the Lions, they ran all over us. So that was a bit of an adjustment. Let's see if we can figure out this coverage in the middle of the field. You know, Howie was probably looking to see what deals he can make to expedite the process. But this one game, we'll see how it goes. Not every team can run a double tight end set as efficiently as they did. So
yeah, as far as that running thing goes, that's very impressive because Zeke, like, think about how good Boston Scott is against the Giants. Zeke is that good better than that against the Eagles. It sucks to say, but it's the truth. And nothing from Zeke, man. That was enjoyable. That first run that he had, I screamed. I was like, leave me alone. Get out of my life. No one wants you here. But Jordan Davis said, give me that, and ripped that ball out. I loved it.
I do think though, like the thing that sucks about seeing the Patriots have so much success using their tight ends is on our end, Dallas Goedert didn't do anything. I mean, he was open a couple times and Jalen Hurts just chose not to throw to him, but it really, really stings when you see the opposing offense come out and use that position and show that they know how to use it and even get 2 players at the same position involved at once when we're on offense and, you know, we're seeing we're seeing deep balls get thrown, we're seeing end zone shots getting taken, but what we really didn't see is any action with Dallas Goedert letting the bigger guy eat over the middle, or he even was running free on the sidelines a couple plays and he just didn't get the ball, which I really hope that's something we do differently against Minnesota.
I think it'll turn around.
61 snaps, by the way. 61 snaps. Goddard was on the field and not a catch. That's crazy.
And it hurt even more that stupid Tony Romo just decides to, like, all right, hold up real quick here. Let me show you guys how open Dallas Goedert was, and he didn't get targeted. It's like, shut up, Tony. Shut up, Tony.
All right, let's talk about overreactions then. We're Monday. We're 1-0. It seems like we're 0-1 right now. Fans are panicking. People are jumping off the deep end and stuff, and nobody watches more football than you, Travis. So I'm gonna ask you a question, man. What are the overreactions you're hearing, man? Are you cool? I mean, what's everybody doing here? Like, why is everybody acting like we lost this game?
I mean, I feel like a lot of people are looking at the Eagles beating the Patriots the way the Giants fans are looking at losing by 40 at home to Dallas are, But I think the biggest thing is, we just got so spoiled with so many great wins last year, and we go on a run to the Super Bowl and you lose it in such a heartbreaking fashion, and we all just kept saying like, oh, the team's going to be back and they're going to go into New England and they're going to win by 50, or they're going to drop 50 on the Patriots. And I think it's more of just the expectations were really, really high, and the game just, it was a downpour. It wasn't necessarily a quarterback stool, but it does suck when Mac Jones did put up objectively better numbers than Hurts, even though Hurts. I think Hurts played pretty well. I know a lot of people are saying like the numbers weren't really there and he didn't really use his legs a whole lot, and the fumble was definitely not what you want to see from your quarterback. He's got to do a better job of protecting the ball there. But with his arm, I think he did a really good job of protecting the football. Even down the stretch when the game was close, he still was throwing it accurate. He looked poised, and even like that deep ball to AJ Brown that was bobbled, that was ruled an incompletion, that was still right in his breadbasket.
Yep.
And he was throwing darts to Devontae Smith later in the game too, as well as earlier with the touchdown. And I feel like a lot of people just had a lot different expectations of the way they thought the game was going to go, and that's why they're upset. And it's called overreaction Monday for a reason. I wouldn't be buying too much into it. It was really more of a preseason week 4 than it was of a regular season week 1 in a way.
That's a good way to look at it and things of that nature. I mean, it happens all over the league all the time, man. Like, the Patriots actually play their starters during the preseason and stuff, but it happens all over the league. Kansas City didn't look good. Neither did Cincinnati. You can take it to the collegiate level. Like I said, Trev, I know you watch more football than anybody on this broadcast.
Texas had a big win over Bama.
Texas had a big win over Bama and things of that nature, but people were complaining about how Georgia looked early because college football didn't have preseason. They got a spring game, don't have any preseason games and stuff, but big overreactions. Dallas and San Francisco look phenomenal. We don't. Leadership, game management. We call 2 timeouts on special teams. Now, that I do have an issue with.
Yeah.
2 timeouts burned on special teams, and after the timeout, we still can't get 11 men on the field. I got an issue with that. Kind of to lean on some of what you were saying earlier, Jalil. I mean, I looked at these preseason games, and what kind of gets lost in this is Nick Sirianni is now 3-0 in opening day wins and opening day games. But each one progressively looks a little bit worse than the last one. We had the very comfortable looking blowout win over Atlanta in 2021. Last season, we got in a shutout with Detroit and should have probably blown them out and almost blow that game because we lose like some steam in the fourth quarter. And then this year, we saw this year and everything and stuff like that. So, Jake, you talked me into it, man. Like, I'm in the overreaction boat now too. So, what are we gonna do, man? Like, is it possible to fix this in a few games? Matt, you've been a little quiet for a little while and everything. What you thinking? Can we fix this by Thursday?
Yeah, I think it's possible to fix things. It'll be well, they're going to have to, and they get a quick turnaround on Thursday. I think there was that the succession in the second quarter where they had minimal yardage, and it was when they punted, I think, 4 times in a row, and minimal yardage. And you see later on where they have the same amount of drive, and they had as much yardage or more yardage than they did in that entire second quarter. And that's what allowed New England to get back in the game. So I think they really can't get in the habit of having a lot of those lapses. But as we've talked about this already, you're playing against probably the greatest defensive mind that there is, one of them in Bill Belichick. So, and and this week they don't really have, or they want to go up against that quite. I mean, Kevin O'Connell's more of an offensive guy, so they won't have that much. I don't know who their defensive coordinator is.
Brian Flores.
Okay, yeah, actually, he's pretty good, and he's Bill Belichick disciple. So, but we'll see. I mean, they really don't want to have another bad offensive showing, or worse than they had this past week. So that'll be a challenge for them, or be a test for them to start the game early on the first drive. Say go right down the field, kind of get the crowd into it, and maybe on that next, if they do get the ball first, and then force Cousins into a turnover with the opportunity to go up 2 scores early. But they really can't let their foot off the gas, even though the other team's going to make adjustments. So a lot of give and take. I do think that Hurts will be better. He did seem a bit hesitant to run outside, or maybe to run as much as he used to. If the read wasn't there, he would fall. He would just go on the ground and either,
I like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing.
That protected Hurts and everything.
Yeah.
Nick says if Bradbury doesn't clear concussion protocol, our secondary is going to be tested on Thursday. That's not an overreaction. I think there's actually some validity to what he said and things of that nature. But I trust Josh Jobe. Darius Slay came up big, as did a couple other Eagles on Sunday. But I kind of want to get you guys' reaction because the captain spoke with I think that was James Palmer after the game. This is what he said.
Slay, I know you're so used to seeing your offense convert 3rd and shorts, 4th and shorts, and staying on the field. They weren't able to do that there. What was the mentality? What did you say to each other when you had to get back on the field for one more stop?
Oh, defense always ready, man. We built for this, hell of a team over there. They made a lot of plays today, man. But, at the end, we made the most plays at the end, man. Veteran leaders on this defense. So we got to go in there and clean some stuff up, man. It's not our best performance on defense, so we got to go out there and clean some more stuff up, though.
I like that you brought up veteran leadership because all we heard about young corners this offseason, Sauce Gardner, Patrick Surtain, but you still got some juice. Yeah. Pick 6. That was important and a big part of this game. Run us through that play.
That's what I be trying to do, man. I be trying to be a game changer, man, making big plays. That's what help defense, man. I'm trying to give every break I can to be the best I can be for this team and the organization. So I just always go out there with my mindset of turning this ball over, man, because I know our offense can score. So more chance I get them the ball, more chance more points they can put up.
Last one is this is your first game with Sean Desai running your defense. What did you learn about your defensive coordinator?
Great things, man. He's confident, man. He's on the sideline making quick adjustments. So he's doing a great job, man. This is our first time with him in the actual real game, with the starters, because we know we ain't played too much in preseason. But he did a great job on the side, adjusting stuff, everything on the sideline. So as players, we got to get better for him because we don't like that performance out on our defense end.
Quick turnaround, go enjoy it.
Oh yeah.
Slay said some good stuff there. Another captain, A.J. Brown, spoke with the media in his locker room.
Just how difficult is it to face a Bill Belichick defense with the different coverages, schemes, and different things they throw at you?
I mean, it's very difficult because you just don't know what he's going to throw at you. He's all over the place. You just don't know, and it's exciting to be honest. But whenever you get your matchup, whenever you get your opportunity, you got to make the most of it. And he's counting on that just like we're counting on that too. So,
all right. Makes a lot of sense there. Got a game on Thursday, fellas, and stuff. And Darius Slay seems like he's all in on the Sean Desai thing. And, he's got the support of his players, and a lot of times that's all you need. Like, I'm older than you guys, probably a lot older than some of you guys and stuff. But I remember the Andy Reid era. Andy Reid did not run that locker room. Troy Vincent did. And you see what Troy Vincent's doing now. But you got to win the players over, man. It's not college football where, you kind of get recruited and you kind of, once you get in there, they have to cater to you till you get there. And then once you show up, you pretty much do whatever they tell you to do. This is the pros, and you kind of have to win guys over, and you kind of to some extent, you have to ride that fine line between being a disciplinarian and a teacher, and you also have to be like the guy that every once in a while comes and puts his arm around guys and stuff. The defensive players believe in that guy, Sean Desai. Slay and Matt Patricia have made up, which should be inspiration. All of them, those two guys can make up. I tell all of you guys to go find somebody that you beefing with and bury the hatchet tonight.
Call my old high school nemesis and bury the hatchet.
But this is the one I'm questioning because a lot of people are questioning this. I like Brian Johnson, but I was not encouraged by the play calling and stuff. And something you mentioned, Travis, like the 0 catches for Dallas Goedert. I'm not going to overreact to that yet. I'm going to stay positive, and this is why. Devontae Smith had 0 catches in week 1 of the 2022 season against Detroit, and he went on to set a franchise record for receptions by by a wide receiver. Zach Ertz, the tight end, still owns total receptions for a season, but most receptions by a wide receiver in a regular season. So I'm encouraged, and I don't believe that they're going to ignore Dallas Goedert all season. I don't see how they do it. So, how do you guys feel about Brian Johnson or Sean Desai both?
So on that note about Dallas Goedert not getting any in relating, and I think Nick did that too. Talked about how it was like Devontae Smith not getting any targets in week 1 of 2022. They scored 35 points on off or 38 points on offense. This week they scored 7 points on offense. It's not the same. It is not the same. They had offensive production that week. If you don't have offensive production this week and you're not targeting your playmaker, that's where the issue is. I understand that there can be a parallel there, but I don't see that. I think Brian Johnson called an incredibly cowardly game, and I don't like a lot of the play calls that he did. But he did it against Bill Belichick and he won. And offense didn't necessarily beat Bill Belichick. The defense did, but buddy, I don't quite fall into that parallel of Dallas Goedert and Devontae.
Quick question, Jake. Quick question. So, do you not attribute field goal points to the offense?
No, I think
you got to drive the field to get in position for them to kick the field goal.
50-yard field goals is not. That's not a. We're not talking a
30-yard field. You still got to do something to get.
I don't know if I'm counting if the Patriots kick a field goal, I'm counting that as a defensive win. If the Eagles kick a field goal, I'm counting that as an offensive loss. I mean, now that's obviously that's not a black and white thing. Obviously, there's different circumstances. Say it was like you got way behind scheduled, 2nd and 20 because Jordan Mailata decided to hold somebody because he had a bad game, and then you end up getting into field goal position. Yeah, I can count that as a win. I can count that as maybe. I think that probably happened. I'm not entirely sure. I don't remember. So it's not black and white, but that's kind of the rule that I go by.
Okay, interesting. Well, Brian Johnson, I was hoping that the first showing would be better, but we spent time on Friday talking about how good Belichick's defense was. And, and then we've spent time now already talking about how brilliant Belichick is. At no point can we forget that, like that's just part of the equation that has to be respected. So I'm taking the win, and it's why, though initially while watching the game, I'm with y'all. I'm like, what is he doing? What are these play calls? Kind of on both sides of the ball, right? They're already eating up our middle, and as much as we've been crying for more blitzes, the fan base, like I feel like it wasn't the time to send more blitzes. When on some of those passing plays for New England, because they were already getting the ball out of Mac Jones' hands very quickly. Sending a secondary that is not going to help that process. It's going to make it worse. So I thought some of the decision making at certain times for both coordinators was questionable, but being who they're playing against and the youth of both, I'm like, okay. I'm going to give them a mulligan for the first week, essentially, because the team still won. If we would have lost that game, then it would have been different. And I disagree with the field goal thing. If the Jake Elliott comes out there and kicks a 55-yard field goal, if we started on the 25 and they had to drive 30, 40, however, whatever that distance is for him to get in range to hit that, I'm going to give the defense those points at the end of the day. I'm not going to say it's a completely successful drive, but some points is better than no points, and you needed the offense to get those points. So I'm going to give them that. So
you're attributing the points to offense and special teams, or
yes. Both of them were necessary. You know what I'm saying? Both of them. We can't receive the ball after a kickoff on the 25-yard line and have Jake kick it from there. You know what I'm saying? The offense has to do something to get into position for Jake to make that. So I'm going to give them something in that regard. So there's a lot of other things that need to be looked at. Like, the Dallas Goedert thing it's just weird. He's just so good, and he's been good at this point for years. So just to kind of forget about him, I don't understand that. I don't. I want to tell y'all about a stat that I thought was fascinating that I looked up for run blocking amongst all the teams. The Eagles were actually 12th. But the actual rushing, where I have it, 29th. I'm putting that on Gainwell and the coaching staff.
Really?
Yes, because y'all made the decision not to run the more talented guy, DeAndre Swift, more. He had one rushing attempt. That to me is unacceptable and confusing. And I just don't understand it. I don't care how long Kenneth Gainwell has been here. He's been doing a great job in his role, and that's phenomenal. But when you put on the tape, you can clearly see that DeAndre Swift is the better talent. Run him. It makes me think that there's something else going on behind the scenes. Like, why wouldn't you play the more talented guy? Why did you have a healthy scratch on Rashad Penny, who averaged 6.6 and 6.1 yards per carry over the last 2 years, for Boston Scott, who played 8 snaps? I don't understand that. That needs to be fixed.
I'm gonna give you like a Rashad Penny thing though. Like, I don't know if I believe in Rashad Penny though, because my thing is like you're right about the yards per attempt, but I think like a lot of that's some pop stuff. Because he also averages like 45 yards a game for his career, if I'm not mistaken, over that same stretch. So it's like you get pop plays here and there and stuff like that, but you don't do a whole lot of consistency over a full game basis and stuff. So maybe that's it. I don't know. But it just seemed like during practice and everything during the preseason, he just kept sliding down to get depth chart, and same thing during like training camp and stuff like that. It was just like maybe they feel like something's missing there. And I agree with you on one thing. Like, Kenneth Gainwell cannot have the most touches of any offensive skill player. Like, I'm one of those guys that's riding for Kenneth Gainwell, but he can't have 14 touches and everybody else have like 5 or 6 or 2 or 3, and Dallas Goedert get nothing. Like, you can't ride this offense through Kenneth Gainwell. I think all these guys are talented. I think DeAndre Swift has some talent, and I agree with you. I think as a on a case-by-case skill set versus skill set basis, if we measure him that way, DeAndre Swift is the better player. I think Kenneth Gainwell is a lot better than people give him credit for. And I think the coaches, I don't think the organization, the Howie Rosemans and the Jeffrey Lurie's really want Kenneth Gainwell, but I think the coaches really like Kenneth Gainwell. And they trust him, and they see something that, the management isn't seeing because they aren't in practice every day and stuff. But he can't have the most touches, and Dallas Goedert get nothing. And that's where I am with it.
Yeah. That's kind of where I'm trying to change my brain a little bit, because last year I didn't like the idea of Kenny G as much as I like Kenny G. I didn't like the idea of him because they would use him. They would scheme up plays specifically for him on third down instead of giving the ball to, like we said, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. You have 3 elite pass catchers, yet they would go and be like, well, this is going to be Kenny G's play. And I didn't like that. But he was also in a spot where he was playing behind a good running back who couldn't catch the ball. So we never really got to see a running back who had both of those tools. And Kenny G, like it or not, does have those. So I'm trying to change myself a little bit.
But he did play, Jake. But it's not like Miles got all the snaps all the time. Like he played. He got a lot of touches. We saw him.
I think towards the playoffs, right?
Yeah, more towards the playoffs. There were in I think the 30, what did I say before, in like 30 games or something, like 33 games in Kenny G's career, there was 10 games where he's had touched the ball one time. Like he didn't necessarily have the opportunity to be able to show that he could be that every down back, because they didn't need him to be that. And now we're in a situation where I think that they're going to give him the opportunity to do that. Yeah, DeAndre Swift is incredibly talented. The one carry that he had, like he got hit and then dove forward like 2 extra yards, and that's awesome.
He also dropped the pass on third down. That he probably
also the pass did hit him square in the ball.
He had 5 targets, 2 receptions, and 0 yards receiving.
That was very tough because he was wide open and he had nobody in front of him. That looked like an XFL running back just getting smoked in the hands and not doing anything with. That was pathetic.
Travis, I see you looking like Double Dutch trying to jump in, man. What you got?
What I was gonna say is like the whole reason with the running backs, or the whole point that these running backs were brought here, is because none of them are individually great. DeAndre Swift and Rashad Penny and Kenneth Gainwell, none of those are guys who are really gonna succeed or be a part of an offense going to making a run for their division or making a run for the Super Bowl if they're getting 25, 30 carries a game and are expected to carry the whole workload. I feel like the running back room was well, Gainwell was already here, but the reason that we brought in Swift and brought in Penny was to have running backs with unique skill sets in the whole throughout a game. You can swap them out and you can keep defenses guessing. And I felt like that was something that should have been a lot more of the focal point. It's a hard, heavy rain. It's downpouring. You're going up against Bill Belichick, whose defenses are going to do everything they possibly can to confuse you with what they do at the line of scrimmage versus what they do after the snap. And the perfect way to combat that would be, you have DeAndre Swift, who's great with fast cuts. He's great at catching the football. You have Rashad Penny, who's a bruiser, who, if you give him even 10 carries a game, he's bound to break a couple tackles and take 120 yards. And then you have Gainwell, who's kind of that more third down running back, as we tried to use him last year. And he kind of is really good at finding holes. And then you got Boston Scott, who's kind of just a little bit more closer to Kenneth Gainwell with, he uses his small size to kind of skirt around and find little holes that way. But you got each of these running backs with a unique skill set, and that's the whole reason they're here. And for Kenneth Gainwell to get 14 rushes and 4 catches, it's not really what the whole point of the running back room is supposed to be.
Right.
This is what I saw. I saw in practice, I saw Kenneth Gainwell always in on like high pressure situations, like goal line sets and 2-minute offenses and stuff. I saw Swift run out on about a lot of rear routes. They want to make him a wide receiver. And Rashad Penny is supposed to be like a hammer or some type of closer and stuff like that because they don't believe he can catch. So I'm even more confused now since we've been talking, because this is why. Because Jaleel was right, Travis was right, Jake was right, and I was right. And I'm sure Matt, when he jumped in there, Matt is right too. We all said different things, and everybody was right about what they say.
Yeah, I found confusing. Yeah, I found it odd when I was watching the beginning of the game and noticed how many carries Gainwell was getting. It was constant. I thought this was odd. It was almost like they were allowing, when you're conservative like that, and you have a lot of these, you have Hurts, you have Brown, you have Smith, Goddard. You're allowing an aggressive defensive mind in Belichick to set the tone instead of the other way around. When Eagles have the ball, they need to set the tone. So, yeah, I just found that to be a bit odd. Now I think they do need. Now I don't know if it's something that's dependent on matchups, where Thursday's game we'll see more of DeAndre Swift. I would hope so, because I know I think I said something on Friday's show that something about Gainwell it was something in support of Gainwell. I don't recall what it was, but I also think that you got DeAndre Swift for a reason. He has big catching ability. The downside with him and Penny is they have an injury history. Well, Penny kind of seems like the guy that you would use around the goal line, kind of like how Dallas used to use when they had Elliott. So I could see them using Penny that way, but it almost seemed like maybe, they was just the play calling with Brian Johnson. It was just too conservative, and it didn't need to be. And Hurts needs to create more targets besides Brown and Smith. They each have 10 targets, which is good, but you have Goddard, who is a top 5 tight end in the league. He needs more. We've said this throughout the show, but there just needs to be more aggressive play calling on Brian Johnson's part.
Okay,
and
so let's take a vote. Who believes, by show of hands, who believes in Brian Johnson?
I believe in Brian Johnson.
So it's not yet.
All right, it's 4-1. 4-1. Who believes in Sean Desai?
I mean,
No.
So it's 4-1. Jake's out on Sean Desai.
I'm not out. I just don't believe in him.
Okay. All right. This is where it's going to get really ugly. This is where it's going to get real ugly because we talk about leadership and in-game management again. Who believes in the special teams coordinator, Michael Clay?
I mean, he doesn't have anybody. All he has is Jake Elliott.
It's a garbage pail.
His punter. I don't even want to talk about Sipots.
Yo, Travis, you're right though, man. Because this is where I'm at with it. It's like we don't care about safety. We don't care about linebacker. Now we don't care about special teams.
Our safeties and linebackers were special teams guys.
Like, we don't start paying attention to all 3 phases in every position on the football field, man. That's what I want to know.
All right, wait, hold on.
We don't like linebackers. We don't like safeties, Jaleel.
On the optimistic
we don't even like special teams anymore.
On the optimistic side, Sipos wasn't horrible yesterday.
He's always good in September, though. You're right.
Yeah.
When he's always good in September. I worry about Sipos in January.
Just give him a little nugget because we always on him. So I just want to give him that. Good job yesterday, Aaron.
Why is Michael Clay still here, man? They had 2 timeouts on special teams, and after the timeout, they couldn't get 10 men on the field.
Clearly, the drive.
2 timeouts on special teams. Gotta get you guys out there.
All that new personnel, that's got to be the excuse that he's making. That's when they came to his office this morning, be like, dude, what was going on? He had to have said, I didn't have the personnel. You elevated my punter and punt returner like the day before the game. Sean Bradley's out for the year.
Let's break
it's hard to defend him. I don't know what he said to keep.
And we love Rayshawn Glosser because Rayshawn is always rocking with us. We love him to death. But he said, I believe in both coordinators. There's only been 1 win so far. The thing Rayshawn forgot is it's 3 coordinators. He didn't even remember the special teams coordinator on this.
No, because we don't care. We don't care about special teams. That's why he didn't bring them up.
He got a raise.
He got a raise, man. He got a raise. It's like, I don't care about Britton Covey just being out there because he knows how to fair catch.
He did good. No, Britton Covey is a good punt returner. Britton Covey is a good punt returner.
He needs to not fair catch inside the 10 so much and just let the ball bounce towards the end zone. He did that a lot last year, and when he did it, I was if you just let it bounce.
On that note, okay, you said that Aaron Siposs did good. His kicks were all returnable. Man,
I didn't say he did good.
No. Jalil did. It's like his
kicks.
I
said he wasn't terrible.
Oh, okay. Well, then then I don't argue with you. He was not terrible. Congratulations on being not terrible at the beginning of September.
Yeah, glass half full. Remember.
And I said this before the show, but I'm getting Stockholm syndrome into liking Aaron Siposs now because I'm a broken man, and I saw him Jake Elliott hug him, and I was like, oh well, if Jake Elliott likes him, then I do too. It's like no, I don't know how to feel, and it angers me, which makes me not too much emotion for a Monday.
It seems like you have the proper amount.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it seems like it.
I'm
Seems
a
like
well-adjusted person.
But when we talk about the coordinators, the points that they scored on the 2 back-to-back drives came in the second quarter, right? First quarter was good on defense. Second quarter, not so much. But at that point, the offense had continued to stumble, right? So you keep
First drive,
putting the
you're
yeah
right.
you
First
you
drive,
keep putting the defense back out on the field, and eventually, they broke. And they broke on back-to-back drives because right after they scored, we gave the ball right back to them. We didn't do anything again. We didn't score in the second quarter at all. The second half, they don't score in the third quarter, and then they score at the end of the game. Where it's already out of it. Like they weren't going to win at that point. That last touchdown came with like less than 2 minutes left, 156 if I remember correctly. I looked it up earlier. So am I going to say that was a horrendous job from Sean Desai? I'm not. There's a lot of things that went into that. But I do want to real quick give Darius Slay a lot of love, not just for the pick six, but that other play where he almost had the pick.
he got deep caught up.
No. If he would have caught that, that probably would have been like, one of the best plays, if not the best defensive play in the year. When it happened, I was watching it and I said, he baited that throw. And then sure enough, who is it? Brian Baldinger, he'll go back, do the reviews, talked about it, same thing. And Slay pretty much confirmed it. That was like the best play of his career. Because he was watching, he wasn't even playing the receiver like that because he wasn't scared of the receiver. He was watching the quarterback the whole time and watching the ball. And as soon as that ball went up, he tracked it and made the play on it. So coming down with that would have been like the best play for a cornerback of the year, probably at least like top 3. But even though he didn't catch it, that was a phenomenal play by a very smart player.
Oh yeah, that was beautiful.
We played the Slay clip at the beginning and everything, and I enjoyed that. And this is the reason why, is because there are going to be ebbs and flows in a football game. I don't know. Sometimes we're so spoiled by a superior player. At times we feel like they're just going to run over everybody. That's not going to happen. They got NFL players on the other sideline too, in all 32 locker rooms. So the Patriots have NFL players. They're coached well. I was one of those guys thinking, is it time to move on for Bill Belichick? I feel better about Bill Belichick today, even after a loss, than I did about him before this game started. And, we looked around at the practice field and things of that nature. There were no drones flying over to, steal plays and record us and nothing like that. But Bill Belichick is a genius, and they call him a genius for a reason, man. But I got to tip the cap to Sean Desai. Like, he had some rough spots. You're right, Jake. We got to figure out a way to stop tight ends and stuff like that. Some of it's personnel. You got a bunch of safeties, none of these guys can cover for real. The safeties are just like the running backs. Like, they all got certain skill sets, none of which involve coverage.
It's
so who's going to guard a tight end? Like, you can't put a slot receiver on them. You can't put one of your outside guys on them, or maybe you can try to throw an outside guy on him and try to just dedicate him to like a tight end like that. But your safeties can't cover, your linebackers can't cover, and stuff like that. That's the issue right there that I see. But the thing I enjoyed about Sean Desai yesterday was, despite the ups and downs, despite the ebbs and flows of every football game that we see, like we said, Kansas City didn't look good, neither did Cincinnati. It's week 1. Don't overreact. But when that defense had to be at its best, when Jalen Hurts made a mistake, they covered for him. Jalen Hurts, I heard a couple of stories after the game. Jalen Hurts walked around the locker room and thanked all the guys on defense for having his back, which is leadership, and that's the type of leadership. We talk about Jalen Hurts and cliches so much. We don't talk about that kind of stuff. So that needs to be mentioned. But when that defense had to be at its best, when Fletcher Cox had to be at his best, Fletcher Cox looked like 2015 Fletcher Cox.
It was good.
Jordan Davis got the first sack of his career, which is a half sack, but I believe he should have given the whole thing, because I think Josh Sweat just got a felony guy after Jordan Davis already had him. And Jalen Carter comes up with 30s? I've seen 2 different numbers, somewhere between 32, 36, or 39 snaps. A gang of pressures and a sack. He's going to be phenomenal. And that's attributable to your defensive coordinator, because Slay is right. He made adjustments. It wasn't always pretty, but he made adjustments, and that defense stiffened up in the end, and they're the reason we won this football game.
Yes, the other thing to know about that is that Bill O'Brien's a good offensive coordinator too. Like he's a real good one. Like you saw what he made Deshaun look like in Houston. He's a good offensive coordinator, and Deshaun turns out not only sexual vagrant but also a bad quarterback. So like it's he's not bad. So for like we said, Brian Johnson going up against Bill Belichick's defense and Sean Desai getting put into hot water immediately with Sean O'Brien offense or Bill O'Brien offense. Pretty. I mean, things could have been a lot worse.
What you got, T. Will?
Yeah, I think to me the thing that sticks out the most about Sean Desai, and kind of building off what you said, Jeff, is that he was able to get the most out of so many players who were young or question marks coming in. Like Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter looked like they were playing at Georgia again, the way that they were getting in the quarterback's face. And Reed Blankenship, we already talked about, he had a great day. And Kobe Dean, even though he got banged up a little bit, he was doing a great job at getting in there and stopping the run. And just like when you see it, one of the biggest complaints people had with Jonathan Gannon was we were letting teams run on us a lot. And, you know, we saw a bunch of guys who were kind of not necessarily that they're question marks, but just that they're very unproven talents in the NFL come in and really show that you're not going to run on us, even if it is your stadium, and we're going to play up to our potential. And they did it under Sean Desai. So I think it's pretty good for him going forward. It looks pretty good. And, you know, for each of these coordinators making their debut as coordinators with the Eagles, and having the opponents that they had, I think they both did a really good job. And I think we're almost too harsh on them. You know, you got to expect a little rust and some growing pains, but I think we'll definitely see an improvement as the season goes on with those two.
And this is unlike Brian Johnson, he wasn't with this team last year. So, you know, he's still learning guys and what they're good at and things of that nature and stuff. And I think it's going to be fine. I kind of tipped my head on this and everything, but couple of the best stories of the week. I really was encouraged by that Jalen Hurts story and stuff like that. But I heard another one somebody told me, and it was about Josh Sweat. So you remember the interception Josh Sweat should have had and everything? Like for 2 seconds, I was thinking this is Dallas all over again and everything, but he dropped the ball. So I think it was D. Zingaro that sat there and said this, but he was stating that you know, he talked to Josh in the locker room. You know, he's kind of a quiet guy, but he trusts Zingaro. So he's talking to him. And he actually blamed Mac Jones for the interception. He sat there and said, I had my head where I wanted him to put it, but he threw it at my face. So it's Mac Jones's fault that Josh Sweat didn't come up with that interception and stuff, but I thought that was funny. My bad, guys. I kind of got long-winded on the rant and stuff, so I know we had to break the hour. But I want to get everybody's opinion on something real quick before we get out of here. 2 things, actually, and I'm going to shut up. Nakobe Dean is hurt. This is the injury concerns was why he dropped to the 3rd round in the first place. Nakobe Dean got hurt in the preseason, so we didn't see him for a while. And Nakobe Dean is hurt again. He's in a walking boot. He's supposed to miss a couple of weeks. So we got Rayshawn Evans from the Tennessee Titans, who I don't expect to play, and he definitely want to play by Thursday. But what are the options now? We're going to elevate we're going to give the green dot to Christian Ellison. We're going to elevate Brendan Summerins or maybe Nicholas Morrow. I mean, they've been here all year.
We picked up somebody, put him on the practice squad.
Rayshawn Evans, but I don't see how they get him ready by Thursday.
He won't be ready by Thursday. I agree, but going forward, and maybe he'll be, you know, ready for the rest of the time that Dean is out. As far as you know, what to do about Thursday, yeah, I think we probably just have to elevate one of those other guys and roll with them. And it's just going to be rough covering the middle of that field, you know. Hopefully they can do what they do to stop up the run game, but as far as stopping them in the middle of the field, putting any of those guys in the coverage, yeah.
Who you rocking with, Matt Summerin, or are you going with Morrow?
Yeah, I don't. I'm glad. Let's just say I'm glad I don't have to make that decision.
Jake, Trav, Matt, thoughts on? Well, actually, get a couple of your thoughts on 2 things before we get out of here. That was one. I also want to go and get you guys ideas because it's overreaction Monday and everybody's like Dallas and San Francisco is better than us. So that was the first thing, John. What you think about Dallas and San Francisco? And then Jake, Trav, Matt, I want to kind of get you guys' opinions on Nakobe Dean's issue in the Dallas and San Francisco thing.
Yeah,
they're about the Dallas.
I'll let you finish up with your Dallas San Francisco game.
Appreciate you. As far as Dallas goes, I'm just not enamored with Dallas. I don't care what they do. They always have these games where they look super impressive and everybody wants to be excited about them. Oh, they're back. This is the time. I don't care about that. I'm not moved. Dak still only completed 54 of his passes, and like not everybody you're playing against are going to be the lowly Giants. So I'm not impressed. I'm more impressed by San Francisco's win over the Pittsburgh Steelers, just because it seemed like they were primed to take a step forward this year. I actually picked them in the family picks that we do every week, and very wrong about that. But at the end of the day, it's the same way that we've been trying to temper some of these reactions. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm not going to panic about our coordinators after this game, and I'm not going to be overly, cautious, or I'm not going to crown either one of those teams yet after one game.
Yeah,
we got like 2 minutes. Like, what you thinking?
Rashaan Evans versus Nicholas Moreau, that's a toss-up, or even Ben Van Summeren. I would say give it to Moreau just because he's got the experience, for better or for worse, but still start Ellis and start why am I blanking? Cunningham. And then as far as the other teams go, I mean, Dallas, yeah, they won 40-0, but Dak Prescott threw for less yards than Jalen Hurts, and he didn't have a touchdown, so he didn't really do anything. I mean, he did what he was supposed to do. And what he was supposed to do was not put the entire team on his shoulders and have the most dazzling stat line and win the game, regardless of what announcers might make it sound like. And, as far as the rest of the division goes, Daniel Jones was sacked 7 times and Sam Howell was sacked 6 times as the Commanders barely beat the Cardinals. And with the 49ers and the Steelers, the thing that stuck out to me most in that game is just Steelers' offensive line looked completely outmatched for the 49ers defensive line. Like Nick Bosa, he deserves that contract for the 49ers, and Steelers, Kenny Pickett got sacked 5 times, and they ran the ball only 10 times and only got 41 yards. But I think the 49ers, they a little more vulnerable than people might think. They did have 3 fumbles on offense, and they were just able to recover 2 of them. But I think the Eagles, if they were to play the 49ers tomorrow, which they don't, we still got a few weeks left for that. But, I mean, our offensive line is better than the Steelers is. So I think that was really the biggest thing all game, was just the Steelers' offensive line had no idea how to handle the 49ers pass rush, their run defense. And that's definitely something to keep an eye out going forward, to see if is the Steelers' O-line that bad, or is the 49ers defense that good?
You worried about Nakobe Dean? Is he fragile?
He's definitely got a bad track record. It's hard to argue he's not at this point. It's like he's like the Carson Wentz of middle linebackers is what he's becoming slowly.
Was this a non-contact injury? You put him in his boot? I don't remember what he got hurt.
I saw a clip. It's somebody rolled up on his ankle.
Okay, gotcha. Matt, what you think? You worried about Nakobe Dean, and what do you think about Dallas and San Fran?
Yeah, I am at this point. That was one of the things when I had written about it 10 days ago. Yeah, that was one of the things, because he had been dealing with an injury in training camp, and now he's hurt again. So, yeah, he's developing that reputation very quickly of being an injury-prone player in the NFL. So he's going to miss time. It's going to hurt his development. I think, it'll probably be. I would think it'd be Nick Morrow with who would get the promotion. But yeah, losing Dean that's going to be tough, especially for him, because someone's either going to have the opportunity or is going to take or make enough an impression to take his spot. So it doesn't do him any good at all. But I think with Dallas, I'm with John on this. Let me know in January. Like, try making it to the NFC Championship game, then we'll talk. I mean, they just, what shocked me more was the Giants, how they looked. I thought they were going to pose. I actually thought they might win the division, not by much, over the Eagles. But so it's not much of an overreaction. So it's overreaction Monday. Here we go again. But Dallas just doesn't. They just don't do anything for me. Now, San Fran, if they stay healthy, that's another team that has a lot of injuries the past couple of years. If they stay healthy, they're going to be dangerous. Come playoff time, because that's another team that should be making another run at a potential Super Bowl. So, they're going to be dangerous.
I can't wait to play them.
Should they stay healthy?
I can't wait to shut San Fran up. I said I was going to shut up. I can't.
I
can't wait to shut San Fran up. San Fran is up there with the Giants and the Cowboys with me now. Dallas, I'm gonna be real with you. Dallas's offense does not scare me. Their defense does. I'm just keeping it real. Jake, what you got?
As far as San Francisco and Dallas go, I'll touch on that one first. Matt, you said wait till January. Let's wait till November. I don't even need to wait that long. Don't worry. The ship will come crashing, baby.
Yeah, I haven't making the playoffs either.
Yeah, it turns out, hey, Brian Dable, don't leave your new $100 million quarterback in the game that late, stupid.
Yeah,
I don't have any. That was more of an indictment on the Giants than it was on the Cowboys. So that felt good to see justification for people being like, oh yeah, he's not really a great coach, that Brian Dable. He's a good coach, not great. But as far as San Francisco goes, it turns out if you get Javon Hargrave on your team, your defensive line's going to be good. Well, didn't see that one coming. But yeah, like you said, as far as injuries go, Christian McCaffrey got 150 yards or something like that. He didn't get hurt last year. He gets hurt every year. So it's just a matter of time for him. I mean, I don't know what kind of medieval torture room the San Francisco has as their training staff office, but I'm pretty sure putting leeches on people who are hurt isn't going to work that well this year. I don't fear them at all. Congratulations on the week 1 win against the lowly Steelers. Congratulations on that one. Very proud of you. What the hell was that? As far as linebackers go, I mean, the other option. So number one, I think they're going with Ellis and Cunningham. That's who came in for Nakobe Dean. I think Ellis gets that green dot, and I like Christian Ellis, and he's a very handsome man. Good for him. Very big eyebrow on him. If I had to give him one fault on his facial features, other than that, very handsome. So I think it'll be Ellis and Cunningham. The other option, I don't like Morrow, but I also don't like Ben Van Sumeren, mostly because his name is very hoity-toity. But he could be good. But the thing is with the change of linemen is that it's such a small delta. Like we've been saying, the linebackers aren't it's not like going from Jalen Hurts to Marcus Mariota. That's a huge change. Going from Nakobe Dean, who, I mean, to be fair, we haven't seen anything out of him. He was wrapping people up. Congratulations. That's what linebackers are supposed to do. You're getting paid for it. So whoever else comes in, hopefully they can tackle, but we're not expecting much out of them. It's not a huge change, but behind that, I mean, the communication on defense, I understand that's a big deal, and we'll see about that, but I don't think there's going to be a huge change there. The other option, though, I believe, was it Justin Evans or Terrell Edmonds was a linebacker at one point. Does anybody know?
Yeah, I'm
not sure. Kind of like that spur position thing where they,
Yeah. So my dream would be one of the. Hopefully, it's Justin Evans was the linebacker at one point, and then they put him at linebacker, and then put Sidney Brown at safety, because that's much more fun to watch. Is a guy who has shown that he can absolutely just hammer somebody. Good God, that punt! Jesus, fair catch it, friend. What are you doing? You're put into the crust of the earth, you psychopath. Ugh. I wish he was mic'd up like Geno Smith was when he had Aaron Donald run at him. Oh my God!
Yeah,
I wish we got that. But yeah, so my answer is I think that it's going to be Christian Ellis and Zach Cunningham, and I think that's totally fine. But otherwise, if somebody else has to come in there, it's not going to be a huge change. The linebacking core is the weakest part of the defense. So that's my take on that.
Great job, Jake. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching the Jake Beckman Comedy Show for the last 5 minutes. Drop a ball. Great job, fellas. Great job. Before we get out of here and everything, I don't want to end this on a somber note and things like that, so we won't. But September 11th is today. We all know people who have lost people in the tragedy and things of that nature, and it's a day, even 2 decades later, that we still remember and stuff. So our hats off to those who have lost somebody. Our hats off to this great country that we live in and things of that nature. We don't always get along. We pick on each other, but I wouldn't live anywhere else. And our prayers and thoughts are to everyone who is having a difficult time or hurting at this time and stuff. So with that being said, we'll leave you with some Nick Sirianni pep talk.
Hey, guys, the first half couldn't have ended any here for us, right? We had to face some adversity, right? We got a hot start, right? Then they came back and they were rolling, right? But what we did in the second half to get that lead, right? We showed ourselves that we can overcome adversity, and then it still got harder, right? But we overcame adversity. It's hard to win in this league, especially on the road against a team that's like that. That's a good defense. Defense, great job getting points. All right, excellent job getting points. All right. Guys, when it ain't going the way that we want it to go on offense, I have full trust that it will, and we'll get it going. But when it's not, and we can kick field goals from where we kick, Jake, great job. Yeah. Great job. That was huge. We got so much confidence in you. All right, we faced adversity and we came out with a win.
He's a better coach than he gets credit for.
Oh yeah,
he's a damn good coach. He's a damn
coach of the year.
And leader of men, which is mainly a job and things of that nature. So those of y'all that hung out with us and everything, we appreciate y'all. Hopefully we brought some joy to you September 11th. If you are down, Jake, you got to drink some piss, man. I'll be honest with you. Like, if you add up views on X, Facebook, YouTube,
no.
We started passing 500 a long time ago.
I said YouTube. I went back and listened to it. I said it had to be on YouTube.
Did you?
I was going to say,
I did.
Everybody,
I will clip it.
Watch on Facebook. Some people watch on YouTube.
You were going to have to clip it because I don't remember that.
I will clip it. I made sure.
Views on Facebook alone. So
if anything, I'm deliberate. I know what I say and I know why I say it. I said YouTube. I
remember it. I remember everything sometimes, and I don't remember that.
Listen, if you think I'm trying to cop out from drinking piss, you do not know me. I will do it. I have no shame.
You should have shame.
I don't.
Only you make that kind of bet, yeah. I don't any.
Not a bet, a deal. The other one was a bet.
Only we can end the show like that. We're gonna get out of here on that note. Appreciate y'all. Go Birds. Let's go get this win on Thursday.
Go Birds.
More snaps for Jordan Davis. Go Birds.